So our farm is located outside of Cascade in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. I farm here with my husband and my in-laws, plus 12 full-time employees. We have great employees. We couldn't do it without them all. And we're kind of like a big family, I would say, and work really well together. At Hickory Lawn Dairy Farm, we milk 730 cows. We used to be milking in a parlor, so that was a double 12, so we milked 12 cows on each side. Decided we wanted to do something different for the future, avoid potential labor issues long term, and decided robots would be the best fit for our family and our farm. And started the building process, design process, and then got to this. Nedap technology has really improved the quality of life here at the farm for employees and for cows. It has given us a lot of extra tools that we get to utilize and really enhance our cows' lives and our employees' lives and their day-to-day work here at the farm. We decided to invest in this kind of technology to hopefully keep our employees here long term. Milking in a parlor is hard on people, whether you're 25 or 55, and we really wanted to get ahead of the game in that aspect and retain the employees we have. They're great employees, and all this technology has been great that they get more variety in their day, and it's just been really fun to see what roles people move into as technology changes and see them use the tools that this barn offers with the robots. We all see a future here and want what's best for the farm and the employees and our family, and we felt like this was it. Since moving into this new barn, it has really given us more freedom as far as employees being off, because in the parlor we needed to have 2 people milking, and you start at 4 o'clock and you get done when your shift's done, and you can't do it with less people. In here, if someone's going to be off, it's easier for someone else to cover their role. There is life outside of the farm. There's a lot more than just farming, and we really want our employees to feel appreciated and feel like this is more than a job to them, but they can still live their whole life outside of the farm. We really try to accommodate our employees as much as possible, because if they love their job, they're going to do it the best they can, and it's really beneficial to the farm and to us to have everybody working as a team. I love everything about farming, to be honest. It's been my life. I grew up on a farm and my family still farms, and I just love doing this all with my family every day. I can't imagine doing really anything other than this. But I love farming because I do it with my family, and the farm has also been great because it's a great energy burner for the kids. The kids can take their bikes, drive up and down the aisles, and have time with the cows, but still be kids and playing and doing what kids do. And it's great that we get to spend as much time as we want together. Even in 2020, people were talking about with COVID, they got to spend more time with their family than ever before. And for us, that's been our life always. We always got to spend as much time with our family as we wanted. But it's fun watching the kids take an interest in what we're doing, and maybe someday they'll be the next generation of Schmidts to farm. I'm really excited to see what the future at Hickory Lawn Dairy Farm looks like, and see if our kids join us in the operation someday, and see what kind of goals we can achieve, and just what the farm here looks like in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years down the road.
When you're designing a barn for robots and you're talking about robots, one of the key factors is not going in and disrupting the cows as much as possible. And the cow locator is so important with that, because when you need one cow and you have to go into a pen of 180, you can pinpoint her location instead of walking through and disrupting every other cow in that pen. A good example would be if I need a cow on the furthest end of the pen, instead of walking through the pen and looking at all these ear tags, I can walk down the feed aisle, hop in the pen, and bring her back. Maybe in the old facility, half the cows would start to stand up that were laying down, which is not something you want. You want them laying down and relaxing and making milk. Now you don't do that. They're calm robot cows, and with the use of the cow locator, like I said, you're not stirring them up all the time. So it keeps the cow on her routine, keeps them calm and happy, and they reward you with good milk production.
Nedap's been a huge lifesaver. It's helped us tremendously with getting cows where we need to go. When I need to fetch cows or collect a cow or search for a cow, I just pull up the software on my phone, and then it'll show very specific where that cow is down to the exact free stall she's laying in. And it's really cool because I can click on that specific cow within the app and it'll pull up her whole portfolio, so it can show, her last milking, if she's been treated, what's going on with her. If I need to separate her for whatever reason or route her, I can do that right on my phone, and it does all that. Makes life really easy.
Making the big change to robotic milking wouldn't be as successful without all the data and all the information you can get from the Nedap collars. On a daily basis, we are checking T4C. You got your health report, heat detection report, rumination, and activity. We can monitor rumination for the herd. We can monitor rumination for a pen. We can monitor rumination for a group of cows within a pen. Reproduction protocols are probably the biggest change that we've made. Prior to it, there was a lot of synchronization shots, a lot of tail chalking. Definitely not as good of results. Now with the activity monitoring, we can look at the cow like on an individual cow basis. So we can look at a cow that might be earlier in lactation but making a lot of milk in a day, and she might come in heat, but we know our success rate on that to get her bred is going to be low, so we'll skip that heat. But a cow that's early in lactation, not milking as much, she comes in heat, we're going to breed her. We've reduced the number of cows in a sync program that are getting shots probably by over 50%. We're also able to catch cystic cows and other different repro events a lot sooner, and then intervene and do what's necessary to get her on the right track. So we look at two numbers. We look at conception rate, which on our cows, we run around 50%, open 150 days in milk and greater, and we want to be under 10%, and we usually run about 8% on that number. And that's all because we have really good activity monitoring, and we trust the data that's coming from the Nedap collars. So I have less DAs, I have less ketosis, I have less metritis than I ever did before. Cows are going to last longer now because we have all this data. A cow that might have died 5 or 10 years ago doesn't anymore because we're catching everything so early with the rumination. With all the information you get off of Nedap and off of the robots, we're back to individually managing cows. Whether it's feeding, whether it's reproduction, all different aspects of dairying. Whereas before, in a traditional parlor setup, you really looked at things as a group.
So this Nedap technology, now that it's here, absolutely love it. I can't imagine going back to the more traditional way of dairy farming.
Going forward in the dairy industry, I'm just excited with new technology coming all the time. I'd like to embrace that and utilize it, and usually it only makes my life and the employees' lives here easier.
So Matt, I'm really excited to have you here today because you're in a super unique position being the dealer involved in one of these early sales in the US. Can you tell me about your experience of brainstorming and planning that process with Jeremy?
The first step is to take the wants and desires of the dairyman where they want to be. And then our sales team and our design team will go through and make those dreams come true, more or less. Trying to take the load off the dairyman and just give them peace that will give them the best product moving forward, and that's where Nedap comes into play.
The convenience seeker may not be the best candidate for this. So I'm anticipating that there needs to be an opportunity to devise a revenue stream or find a way to cut costs by making this investment. What are some things that you have seen with this farm as you went through this?
So with Cow Locator, we use in conjunction the heat detection system with the rumination. We started that early on in this process before we even put in the robots. So we knew what Jeremy was doing already with tail chalking and off-sync programs, where he could completely reallocate that time using the technology. So now we add the locator into it, and it's even better yet because we have 180 cow pens. All they have to do is load them in their phone and they got it. And if the cow has a health attention, they can scroll through the Laley apps and find the next thing that they need on the cow app or signals or what have you.
So you and Jeremy have both put a lot of emphasis on 180 cow pens, 3-box pens. What does the investment and return on investment look like doing that versus having to scale back and have only a 2-box pen without the locator system?
I truly believe that it depends on employee load. I truly believe it depends on total cows on the farm. According to Jeremy, it's figured to be a full-time person for with fetching and health routines that the locator is replacing. We no longer have that guy that just hangs the claw anymore in the parlor. Now we have the person that needs to be able to read a report, interpret a report, and maybe even do some small maintenance items on a robot. So we're going to have to reward them with pay. So that's another thing that we need to think about is maybe today the person you're paying, that scale might change when you go to robots. So that ROI sometimes needs to be calculated with the future of where we're going to be at as well.
So once this technology is purchased and implemented at the farm, what are those training practices that should be put in with the owner and the herdsman and the employees? You know, what should that first couple days, weeks, and months look like, and how does the dealer need to or not be involved with that?
So I think it fits in with your typical protocols from going from no robots to robots. This farm in particular was very unique. They had a great opportunity. With them trying to get that in to replace a tail chalking and off-sync program, they actually started with T4C earlier with their heat detection. So Jeremy knew how to add cows, add treatments, so on and so forth, anything you could think of. So by doing that, with taking 12 robots and learning the locator and T4C and all this other stuff, he eliminated some of that learning curve and that shock, that initial shock. As for most of the time, it's something where we bring in the computer. They have that 8 weeks before we start milking. They come into our shop to get educated on how to add cows, how to build a collar, how to do treatment plants, advanced filters, you name it. And at that point, they take it home and they play with it. My personal opinion is the first week of milking cows, the last thing you want to worry about is anything other than your psyche as a dairyman, your employee's psyche, as well as just getting the cows milked and trained. Yep. So the last thing that they need to worry about is be worrying about how this gizmo or that gadget works.
Once this system, kind of lost its sea legs and got up and running, what kinds of issues have you encountered? What kinds of, those late night or weekend phone calls have you guys had to take and respond to in regards to this technology?
Zero. Yep.
Wow.
I mean, generally speaking, it's been none. Once it's running, it's a set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And realistically, with the cow locator, that's what it's been. I mean, it's been bulletproof.
So you're a smart guy. You know that today you're a smart guy. So you know that you don't necessarily have to have all of the answers, but you have to know who to call to get those answers.
Sure.
So when Dairyman A or Jeremy in this scenario gives you the go ahead and says, yes, I'm interested in this system, I want to buy, let's get it rolling. What are those first calls and people that you need to engage on the task force? Is it the internet guy? Is it a building designer? Is it Laley headquarters, Nedap, etc.? What are those first calls that you had to make and that the next dealer that may be selling the system needs to think through?
The first thing you should do is try to look up the documentation and educate yourself. Look at the whole goods ordering form. Look at the manuals. And after that, then it's reach out to your local sales representative with Laley. You start there and then everything funnels through the dealer. The last thing you want to do is have Laley or Nedap being the contact point on the farm.
Okay. All right, well, I really appreciate you sharing your wonderful knowledge with us today, Matt. You're such a resource and such a good advocate for your farmers and for technological innovation at the farm level. So thank you so much for that and your support out in the field, and look forward to working with you more.
Thank you.
I'm Ron Daly. I'm Technical Business Development Manager for Nedap for North America. Our sensors are neck tags with the Lely portfolio, so that every cow wears a neck collar. The sensors are on the animals 24/7, collecting data, giving a very good representation of the health or the life of that animal and how she's going about her normal routine, whether it's normal, whether it's abnormal, whether she's eating, whether she's ruminating, whether her milk production dropped or skyrocketed.
Nedap is catering to the individual cow, bringing in all the information about that cow's health that we need. And Lely's taking it and putting it into their system and allowing the dairyman to manage off of that.
Because you have all that information there, you're not going out to the cow blind, trying to figure out why is she not feeling well, why is she not making as much milk today. You can figure that all out sitting at the computer, and when you finally get to the cow, you already know what you're looking for. You can diagnose it fast. So 8 years ago, a cow with a severe case of mastitis may not have ever gotten up again. Now, being able to look at animal activity, your eating time, your rumination, you're catching that right away, you're treating that right away, and it's barely a blip in their lactation.
We also offer cow location, and they integrate that into their T4C software. And then they also have a cow locator app to help the customer find their animals in a very quick fashion.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a group of 185 cows, to try to find one cow in there and look at her ear tag, or every ear tag of every cow in that pen, takes a lot of time. With Cow Locator, you can put that cow into your app and it'll tell you within 8 feet or 3 stalls where that cow is.
It sure takes a lot of pressure off the customer when he buys a solution or invests in a technology from a company that he knows it's going to work the way he was told it was going to work.
And we can say now, with having this running for 2 years, that it's bulletproof. It's turnkey for the dairyman. He expects that to work, and it does.
When you combine the two technologies from Nedap and Lely, the future is cows lasting longer, producing more milk over a lifetime. It saves you money, labor, time, everything across the board.
I'm excited to see what the future of Nedap and Lely partnership brings. We are on the cutting edge of technology, bringing new products to market sooner, and with Lely's distribution and their dealer network and their Lely centers, working with their customers to give their customers the advantage of technology sooner than maybe other competitors would. It's a partnership that we're building on and we're growing, and we're working, and I'm glad to be part of it.
The Nedap technology on its own is great and would be very beneficial, but when you combine that with the information you get from the Lely robots, it is everything I could ask for.